Mr. Van is a successful man. He has several businesses around town. They make him millions every year. He has a million rands mansion, luxurious cars, a good family, and a stable financial life. He had nothing at first. He had to work his way up, starting a farm to raise funds to start his business, and later have a lifestyle he has now. He lives a life that anyone would dream of. Many wish to be like him. His peers and his fellow employees have a lot of respect and admiration for his hard work, determination, and achievements. He inspires a lot of young people who are on their building phase. However, he always spends time in the club, drinking alcohol and sleeping with hookers, getting wasted and blacking out in bars. With a good wife and kids, a perfect family, an expensive mansion, and a business that keeps him financially stable, is still sad, unhappy, and seemingly depressed as if he is not satisfied? What is missing? Why does it seem as if he is not satisfied with everything he has? Many would kill to have the life, his mansion, business, and a stable family. Mr. Van himself thought by raising funds as a farm boy and quitting his job as a professor to fill this business will eventually make him happy and set him free. The truth is no one is ever satisfied. You might be doing better than someone, but there is always someone doing better than you. Your brain is excited that you have things that others are trying to have, but it might also be envious for things it doesn't have. The brain eventually gets used and becomes too familiar to things it already knows, craves things it has never got, wants more. The brain whispers, "We already know this. What is something new?" Mr. Van reaches his dreams and still wants more as if what he has was just a small achievement. Still catching flights to create more businesses, getting stressed, and going back to clubs every time he gets overwhelmed. At home, he would still hire construction workers to renovate his garages as he purchases more truck for his stocks. This seems as if he is always looking for the next big thing. What is the stop line? When is the limit? How far is he willing to go? How big does he want to be? The truth is he will never be satisfied. Mr. Van goes to his pharmacy. He is constantly looking for more sales and then to upgrade to his pharmacy even though it is doing very good, pressurizing his employees for more work ethic. The truth is his unsatisfied desire for more business led him to demand more sales from his current business. He is constantly giving advice to his employee, Enza, on business, relationships, and house bonds and mortgage. Mr. Van is extremely experienced in all those areas. It's very reasonable and logical to listen to his advices. Enza listens and applies. Enza worked harder and completed every task given to him by his boss. He has dreamed to one day get a raise and move out from his house to get a better apartment and afford better clothes. Enza would seem very happy, indeed friendly toward his customers. They praised him for his good services, but in reality, Enzo was never happy about his current position. He wants to reach the level of running the pharmacy to the level of Mr. Van. He would constantly ask, "Am I good enough or improve?" Mr. Van would see his raised efforts and decide to promote him, appointed him to be a manager. This excitement sends signals to his brain, "We are finally at the place we wanted to be." His satisfaction has been met. This year, great, he has reached his goal. One could say it's time for him to put down his cigarettes and finally be happy. Enzo would go to his room, messy and with old furniture. He now has a better salary to afford new furniture and can now afford a better house. He moved out to his new apartment. Now he has better water and electricity supply. A good image for someone who is a pharmacy manager. However, this means he now has an expensive life to pay. Expensive water, expensive electricity, expensive electronics. Did he solve his problems? Or did he just increase the amount of problems? Is he finally satisfied with his current lifestyle, or he just become more dissatisfied? No, he simply raised his standards. He got a better position and a better apartment, but it was still not enough. Enzo realized he needed to be more than just being manager to afford his new expenses and maintain his new lifestyle. Enzo would begin to spend his time in the studio, creating and selling his art through an art group that he joined. His studio became another desire he has to satisfy his customers and gain supporters. He would start gaining traction and was now able to get money. Could now use its salary to maintain his expenses and lifestyle. Is he now happy? Is he satisfied? Has he reached the limit of his goal? Enzo would later realize he was getting money that was enough to get himself a car. This means he was not yet satisfied with his current achievement. Enzo would always take his girlfriend, Naki, on dates out of town. Now he could afford to travel with her out of town. However, he would later realize he needed to always take his car to mechanics for repairs and petrol. His expenses rising up every time he is not satisfied with something. After his girlfriend, Naki found out about his smoking habits. He finally broke down. He couldn't keep up with being at work and be at the studio. It brings him fatigue, and he's always not satisfied with things he currently has. And whenever he upgrades, it always ends up adding more problems. Naki, who is a smaller cosmetic business, seemingly is able to pay off her car repairs, and she has her own house, not an apartment. Enzo was now thinking instead of staying as an employee living in a rented apartment, he should also start his own business to be finally free, have his own house, and a fully paid quality car that is petrol and repairman affordable. Let's say he does open a business. Will he truly become satisfied? What is his limit? What is the highest level of freedom is he looking for? What is the when does he finally stop and have enough? Truth is, will he always be looking for the next big thing? But for how long? What is true satisfaction? Naki loves Enza and always tries to help him out to find a solution to his problems. She knows he is there when she is down and feeling sad. He gives her the emotional support and sense of humor that keeps her happy. One could say they're a perfect couple, but the truth is she feels financially unsatisfied with him. Naki always knew Enza is a lazy, unstrategic individual who is never good with his finances. Yes, he works hard, provides, is emotionally available, but Naki is not satisfied about his level of being unrealistic and not planning out stuff. Naki would always go out with other men. The man she found was totally a good businessman, able to lead her, but they lacked the romantic sides, so she couldn't fall for any. She felt safe and could rely only on, but was not satisfied. She would later go out with a man who was both emotionally and financially stable. This brought her the satisfaction on both levels. However, she found him physically unattractive and was untidy. She felt she has to find a boyfriend who was both financially, physically, and emotionally complete. She would later found a guy who kept her happy and emotionally available. He was financially stable and able to give her money. He was also clean, groomed, and physically attractive. Is she financially satisfied? Is she happy? Has all her needs been met? It seems so. But the man was abusive and had lack of respect for her physical well-being. Naki was left with questions. Who is the best guy? Who is the right guy to financially be perfect for all her needs? The truth is, she will never be satisfied. There will always be something missing, something that she can have and something she cannot have. Like Carla, her mentor, she has a casino business, but also has to attend her funding foundation. This led to her hiring someone to run her store while she and investing stock markets. But an employee alone cannot be fully trusted. This led to her being not fully satisfied. She installed camera for security. However, thing means she must raise more money to pay for the system. However, she has to pay her employees and invest more money to grow and be able to afford both the system and employees. However, her husband is always complaining about her absence. This is why she applied a loan to hire someone to watch her trades and pay her employee while she is on vacation with her husband. However, on vacation, she would often meet new people who invest on stocks she never knew about. This made her feel as if she knows nothing, that there is more out there. She felt dissatisfied about her current investments, leading her to ignore her entire vacation, with her desire to research more. Is this her limit, though? Only she knows. One should appreciate what they have, but no one is ever truly satisfied. We are all always looking for the next big thing. The next better job. The next better husband. The next great investment. The next bigger house. The next best car. The next bigger salary. Is there such thing as reaching the limit? Is there such thing which is enough? Thank you. Subscribe.